Well, I appreciate your interest in the update. We are back in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, in a brand new space that I can happily call my own in a brand new apartment with a fantastic view, which I'll show you as well. So let's give you a little bit of an update to what brought me to this point. So as you may know, for the past 3+ years, I've been living in San Diego, California. In fact, I moved from here, my hometown, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, in August of 2017. I'm thinking it was half spontaneous, half planned, because I've always been drawn to California. And in fact, I do still see myself settling down eventually in California, specifically San Diego. So I went out there in late 2017 with a then girlfriend. I guess really have to escape this weather because even today it is rainy, it's cloudy, it's cold, it is Pittsburgh. And when we first moved there, I lived in La Mesa, which was really East San Diego. And then I moved a little bit westward into kind of a college area by SDSU in a rental house, which was very nice. It was a $500,000 or maybe even more home near SDSU. And then there at the house, I met some roommates and we collectively moved into an apartment in the Hillcrest area of San Diego, which is really a great area, kind of central San Diego and a little bit even more westward, slightly closer to the beach than the home. Now you can imagine trying to grow and scale a business and a YouTube channel working out of a rental, basically a bedroom space. And I'll just tell you, whenever I first moved to La Mesa, I was splitting a 1-bedroom again with a then girlfriend, and I think it was maybe $750 each. Well, moving to the home rental, that was a 1-bedroom that I got in that family home by SDSU, that was $1,000 each. Now that was just for the bedroom. Now obviously there's common areas like the kitchen, the living room, what have you. And that house was very nice. And actually I got a spot in the garage, which was a plus, especially in San Diego. I didn't have to park the Passat on the street. And then moving to the apartment, luckily I was able to save some money there on rent. But it was quite small as far as the apartment. And again, trying to film and grow a business there, it was pretty limited, as you probably saw on space. And here comes December of 2020. And thankfully, and shout outs to you, the channel is blowing up, the business is blowing up. And I found myself really, enjoying it and growing the channel. And again, seeing a lot of success. And again, thank you for that. And as that lease was coming to a close in December, I was at that crossroad of, do I want to renew? Do I want to stay in that smaller space? It's a shared space, and the roommates were fine, thankfully, because I'm sure some of you can share the roommates' horror stories. So I'm thankful that I didn't have that in San Diego. But it was a small space. But you also get 70, 75 and sunny most every single day, including even here in December. It's like 70 and sunny in San Diego. So then I compared that to here in Pittsburgh. It's my hometown. It's much smaller. I think there's, $1 million+ in Pittsburgh versus 3+ million in San Diego County. But, my parents are here. My brother's here with his new fiance. And I knew this city. Now, obviously, again, it's cold, it's rainy, it's snowy. I'm not going to get the 70 degrees and the sunny. But what I did get was all of that, was family, was having the people that I know here. And this is in part a business investment. I mean, I am so thankful that this entire space is mine. This is a new construction apartment complex here in Pittsburgh, and I have a fantastic view of the river and the old Heinz plant and some of downtown. And it's kind of crazy because it's still setting in. And having the success that I've had on the channel, I listen to a lot of podcasts, and I encourage you to listen to business entrepreneurial podcasts. And one of them talked about is if you're an entrepreneur, you're always scared. Now, I consider myself an entrepreneur per se, maybe more of a YouTuber or a content creator who has a business as well, whatever, right? But they said you're always scared as an entrepreneur because, you're making good money. And again, I'm thankful to be able to do this full time on YouTube now. But, there's always that thing in the back of your mind where I need to always stay on the gas pedal and always improve, have new things on the channel, and make the very best content possible to, again, grow the channel and grow my business. So this space, which I'm super pumped about, it's an incredible space. I'll get you some shots here, but it's exactly what I was looking for. You know, it's gonna give me and honestly us the space to create some awesome content. I'm so pumped for this, and actually I'm standing because I'm not even completely moved in yet because the desk that I want is not in stock yet. But the live streams, the video content, I am super pumped to see what we're gonna create out of this space. So let me talk about the road trip here to Pittsburgh from San Diego, because yeah, I drove that Passat across country. I don't know, what is that, 2,500 miles or so. And it was completely different than my cross-country trip from Pittsburgh to San Diego. I mentioned whenever I moved here from Pittsburgh to San Diego, I left in August of 2017. Really, what is that? Fall time, let's say. And now I was moving really in the beginning, I don't know, early part of winter. Now, when I drove to San Diego, I had that 4-cylinder little Dodge Caliber, which was fine. I like the hatchback. It worked well for that reason for certain apps. But now I'm driving the Volkswagen Passat, which is a fantastic vehicle. It's been great so far, but it's not the most winter savvy vehicle. Now, I was just hoping that I got good weather. I'm like, all right, cross my fingers. It's gonna be 4 days. It's 36 hours to drive from San Diego to Pittsburgh. So what I did last time from here to San Diego is 4 days for 9 hours of driving a day, and that'll get you there. So I'm thinking the same thing, right? I'm like, all right, 4 days, 9 hours a day. I've done this before. I'll be there in no time. I was gonna leave on a Sunday, but I was pretty excited. You know, I packed up the Passat. I didn't have a U-Haul or anything. So some things I did have to leave behind in San Diego and hopefully sell it. But I packed full of the Passats, just like I did the Caliber, and I set out from San Diego. And I'm driving through beautiful California. I love California. It's absolutely gorgeous. And I'm getting to the edge of California, entering Arizona. And day one is pretty seamless. So day one, fine. Day two, I believe I was near New Mexico. I was near the border of Arizona and New Mexico. And here's where December really showed itself. So this was either finishing day one or day two, I can't remember. But I was about 15 minutes away from, I think it was a Days Inn or a Holiday Inn. And the sun sets at like 5 p.m. now, right? So it was getting dark. Well, it already was dark. And if you didn't know, Google Maps, that's what I was using. It gives you different routes whenever you're routing your destination. So I'm picking the southernmost route. It's Arizona, New Mexico, the tip of Texas, Oklahoma, etc. versus, you know, some of the central states. And I'm pulling into the hotel and it starts to snow. I think it was in New Mexico, actually. It starts to snow and I'm going downhill. And I mean, I'm sure you're familiar with the topography of, you know, those mountainous regions there south of Colorado, but I'm going through some higher elevation. I'm talking about 5,000 to 6,000, you know, feet above sea level. And it's snowing at night for someone who's lived in California for 3 years. Now, granted, you know, I'm not panicking, maybe like a native Californian. I know how to drive in the snow and it wasn't sticking like, you know, too crazy, but, you know, it was whipping snow. It was coming down pretty heavy, pretty fast at night and on a single lane highway. So one lane in each direction, going downhill, you know, for me. So I have 18-wheelers coming up behind me because I have my 4-ways on basically, trying to go slow and not slide my vehicle at night. And I mean, I was pretty nervous. Because if you've ever driven, let me know in the comments, but if you've ever driven in snow, it is nerve-wracking. And then throw on night and then throw on one lane highway with 18-wheelers behind you and you're in a higher elevation. Maybe there's guardrails, maybe there's not. And again, you're in the mountainous region. I was pretty nervous. And I was counting down the minutes on that Google Maps ETA to get me to that hotel. My mistake, and please don't do this if you're making road trips, please don't do this, was I selected avoid toll roads on Google Maps. You can do that. And I'm sure you can do that on Waze, whatever. But I selected avoid toll roads And I had that selected for, years. That's just, what I had selected. Obviously, you don't want to pay a bunch of money for toll roads when you can get somewhere in the same amount of time, whatever. But that caused Google Maps to put me on these secondary highway roads. Again, the one lane in each direction versus if I just went on the turnpike, which is like 3 or 4 lanes in one direction. The next day, I remember this very vividly, specifically, I was driving through the very small town of Gallup, New Mexico. And if you're familiar with Google Maps, they give you a road traffic indicator if you have that option selected. So it'll show traffic on the app. And it'll show green for free flowing traffic, yellow or orange for, somewhat congestion, and then red for obviously slow or stop traffic, and then a deep red for, actual stopped traffic. So I'm on the highway now, and I'm about to approach Gallup, and I see this strip of red on the highway, which indicates, again, stopped traffic. So I zoom out, and remember, Google Maps gives you an ETA. And it says 3-hour delay. So you can kind of anticipate, why there would be a 3-hour delay. I'm thinking, okay, it's an accident, but come on, 3-hour delay on the highway. There's no other road into Gallup until you actually get into Gallup, and then there's secondary roads, but we're all just cruising on the highway. Come on, 3-hour delay? Well, this is a data app, right? It's Google Maps. You're using all this kind of real world data. Well, that red line is extending all the way on the highway before Gallup, in Gallup, and after Gallup. And it is updating in real time. And it updates to 5 hours. And then it updates to 7 hours of a delay. When I'm trying to drive 9 hours the entire day, a 7-hour delay. So needless to say, now safety is first. And whenever I got into Gallup and shortly outside of Gallup, I saw the reason. And I looked it up because I was basically at a standstill. I looked up the news in Gallup, and that area was slammed with winter weather, I think a week prior. And driving through that strip, I saw probably 8 18-wheelers in the median or on the shoulder. And I believe they were just, hitching them out at this time. I saw, once I got through the last kind of stop point, a tow truck was hitching out an 18-wheeler from my right side on the shoulder. And to top it off, as we were passing in Gallup, I actually encountered really, again, my worst nightmare when driving, trying to get safely here to Pittsburgh, is some winter weather. It was on the road. It was either remnants of that system or maybe a system from that morning, what have you. But there was some snow and very, very visible ice patches, packed down snow and ice on that road. And I don't know if you've ever driven cross country or maybe those Great Plains states, but it's basically it's all freight on the highway. So I'm talking about 97% 18-wheelers versus passenger vehicles. So I have these monster 18-wheelers next to me with very, very visible ice on the road. So much so that my car did slide once. We're trying to inch, and we're going, 5 miles an hour. We're crawling this entire time. And, my car actually slides going up a hill once. And I have to tell you, the stress you'll feel whenever you're thinking, I'm 31 hours away from my destination and I'm encountering snow and ice on the road. And this is going to be a 7-hour delay. How much road is going to encounter this snow and ice? And I'm going to be sweating bullets with white knuckle driving, even though it's 5 miles an hour. I mean, am I going to have to wrestle with the snow and try not to slide off the road or into an 18 or have one of them slide into me for the next 6 hours? Thankfully, that wasn't the case. So after we got through that, it was 6 hours. It was 6 hours of a delay in Gallup. And again, I mean, safety is number one, so I'd rather sit in that for 6 hours, obviously, than get in an accident. But the problems don't stop with Gallup, New Mexico. As you may have seen, this northeastern region of the country was recently slammed with a winter storm. So I got through Gallup, and I got through that northern tip of Texas, the Oklahoma, the rest of those states were okay. And then I had to start heading northeast, let's say around St. Louis. And right at that time was when that big storm was coming in. It was going to hit Indiana and then go across the northeast region of the country. So I was driving between St. Louis and Indianapolis, and then obviously we'd go Columbus and then Pittsburgh. But that system was moving in the next day. So I got stuck between St. Louis and Indianapolis because that was my 9 hours of driving. I think it was actually 10 hours, which I do not recommend. 10 hours, and I was extremely tired. I kid you not, extremely tired. I wasn't falling asleep or anything, but I was just fatigued. I mean, 9 hours at the office is completely different than 9 hours on the road. And I garnered a brand new respect for any truck drivers that are driving every single day. But I get stuck, not physically, but I make my stop at a Days Inn in between St. Louis and Indianapolis. And then I have to stay there a day because that system is moving in the next day. So that next day I look out my window and sure enough, snow's coming down. I can see some accumulation, but again, it was really gonna hit hard more east of me, Indianapolis, Columbus, and Pittsburgh. It was so bad that here in Pittsburgh, they got absolutely slammed, like 10, 20 plus inches, depending on where we're at in the area. So finally, being here in Pittsburgh and still setting up, which was part of the reason why there was a delay in videos, obviously, I am happy that it is 92% set up. And I love the view, I love the space. I am pumped for, again, the content that we're gonna make here. We're gonna double down even more. I want you to make absolutely as much money as possible. And this gives us a nice refresh, revisiting Pittsburgh here, and really comparing and contrasting strategies from San Diego. I'm interested to see, okay, the DoorDash market, Matt's expertise with Uber Eats, Amazon Flex here in Pittsburgh, that's coming as well. All of the apps, brand new things to come in 2021. So I appreciate your interest in my update. If you've made it this far in the video, you really have to be a true driver team member, so I really appreciate it. If you got value in this video, definitely consider dropping a like. And of course, you can always click or tap the screen here for my most recent video, as well as a video recommended for you, and I'll see you in the next one.